she stepped on the soil of Miami.
Just don't do that. I have 3 kids and
Many thought she was just like any other immigrant who will do petty chores to survive. Unaware, she is there to rule the state as its ruthless godmother.
How dare you!
Welcome back to Warner Series. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. Griselda was basically the OG queenpin, like the first real badass lady drug boss in history. She started a whole new trend of using people as drug mules, and at her peak, she was pulling in crazy money, like $80 million every single month. That's nuts, right? But here's a wild bit. One time, a woman shot her husband straight in the head just cause he'd taken her to sleep with some other dude. Talk about drama. Anyway, Griselda's husband was deep in the drug game too, but he messed up big time. He lost a huge shipment of drugs, which basically ruined his street cred. Everyone in the drug world started ignoring him.
Hey! Fucking go!
No one wanted to do business with him anymore. So, he shifted his focus to Griselda, maybe thinking he could lean on her for backup or something. One day, Griselda showed up at this fancy villa belonging to a supplier, like the big boss who controls the product. Tears were in her eyes, probably because she knew things were about to get rough. Later, her husband grilled her about what happened there, asking all sorts of detailed questions. That just set her off. She got so mad that she told him she wanted nothing more to do with him. When he tried to chase after her and wouldn't back down, she just pulled out a gun and shot him in the head. Yep.
How dare you!
She killed her own husband, but it wasn't without cost. She got hurt herself. Still, she was too scared to go to a hospital because her husband's crew might try to get back at her. So, she patched herself up the best she could at home. That night, she grabbed her kids and fled to Miami, where her best friend lived.
Listen, I know it's been a while, but I need a favor.
Her friend let her crash and even gave her a job, but Griselda wasn't about to stop there. She'd brought a kilo of top-quality drugs with her.
Carmen, your house is beautiful. Thank you.
And she figured she could just sell it. She could start fresh and make a big comeback. The next day, she hit up some friends who told her about possible buyers in Miami. That night, she dressed up super nice and headed to a nightclub, hoping to find a buyer. She quickly spotted a guy her friends mentioned, a little sketchy dude with a mustache. He called himself Rafa Rodriguez, but he was just a low-level thug. He said something like, "We all work for Mama in one way or another," hinting at how the drug world was run.
We all work for Mama.
Griselda wanted to use Rafa to get to a bigger drug lord named Amilcar. But Amilcar? He was cold and ruthless, treating Griselda like she was nothing.
Next time, watch your fucking mouth.
When Rafa introduced her, Amilcar basically told her to get lost, almost beating Rafa in frustration.
Now look, you get the fuck out of here, okay?
Rafa, mad and blaming Griselda, forced her at gunpoint to hand over her kilo of drugs.
And they're gonna lose their fucking mom if you don't give me the fucking kilo.
She was new and unarmed, so she had no choice. But don't get it twisted. Griselda wasn't some helpless newbie. She had just shot her own husband, remember? She quickly planned her next move. She followed Rafa all day, watching him scramble to find buyers for her drugs. Then, like a hunter stalking its prey, she ambushed him by his car, threatening him hard. Sell the stuff to her, or she'd spill secrets about what he gave her. She got her drug back and even made Rafa work for her finding buyers. But Rafa wasn't done causing trouble.
Buzz,
Let's talk outside.
your girl's selling coke.
One day, he showed up at Griselda's workplace looking for her.
I don't talk about this shit over the phone.
Her best friend knew about her sketchy past and saw her getting pulled back into danger. So, her friend kicked her out of the job and took away her place to stay.
I want you out of my house by tonight.
That left Griselda stuck with nowhere to go. The next day, she hired a waiter to be her bodyguard for $200 and went with him to meet another buyer.
Was like shoving.
This buyer wasn't tied to Amilcar. He had his own network and territory. Griselda knew she couldn't show any weakness, or she'd get crushed in a deal.
He tried to steal my coke. I had to beat him with a baseball bat.
She held firm and sold her drugs for $20,000. Afterward, she and a buyer celebrated by dancing, but she was well aware that things could get messy soon. And messy they did. A gang war broke out between rival groups, fighting over territory. No clear winner that night, but in the chaos, a milker's subordinate stole the kilo of drugs. Luckily, Griselda had stashed the $20,000 she made before the fight in her bag, so at least she didn't lose all her money. Her husband used to mock her, saying she wouldn't survive on her own, but now she was out there fighting, blood on her face, ready to prove him wrong. She found a milker and made him taste the drugs he'd taken. She was confident that once he tried them, he'd want to work with her.
That's business, okay? That's it.
She even told him to double her order next month, and she'd be his main supplier. To make good on her promise, she got all her old contacts together. Each of them smuggled drugs hidden in their underwear, worth hundreds of thousands in total. If they could move one batch every month, they'd be making at least $300,000 a year. Griselda was pumped. She took her friend to meet a milker again, but surprise, there was another supplier there too. This guy, Papo Mafia, was beefing with her over prices.
I told him a woman offered me better product at a lower price, and
A milker was playing them off against each other to drive prices down. He never planned to partner with a woman because he thought women's roles were limited to being housewives.
Why don't you go back to being a housewife or a stewardess, whatever the fuck it is?
A milker was so full of himself, he even offered to buy her shipment for a fraction of its value, thinking she'd be helpless without him. But her friends stopped her from blowing up, reminding her this wasn't their turf and that they needed to back off and find another way.
Tranquilito, papito. Okay, fuck that. This bitch can't come in.
The situation got worse fast. Because Griselda had shot her husband, his killers were hunting her down. They'd already tracked some of her former colleagues and figured out she'd brought a bunch of women to Miami. It was just a matter of time before they came after her. Griselda didn't know this yet. She spent the whole night brainstorming and finally decided.
Tengo un plan.
If a milker wouldn't take her seriously, she'd just start her own thing. She gathered all the women and made them her direct team. They didn't need to sell drugs themselves, just deliver them for free to build a reputation.
Nosotros tenemos el poder de devolver.
Her plan was to connect directly with rich customers, cutting out middlemen who took cuts. She gave out free samples, trying to set up her own market. But a milker wasn't going to let her expand like that.
I had Horacio keep an eye on that bitch that tried to snake me.
He called his suppliers to try to crush her business before it could grow. Meanwhile, Griselda invited the drug manufacturer to meet her. She was honest about her struggles and boldly asked for a long-term deal.
Por explorar.
She told him if he teamed up with her, he wouldn't need to look for other buyers anymore. The manufacturer didn't believe her at first, so she took him to her kingdom, a cruise ship decked out for rich people. Every week, she threw parties there, inviting wealthy folks who'd already gotten free samples from her girls.
Vale.
Many of these rich guests were now backing her. The manufacturer was impressed, but a milker supplier wasn't ready to give up. He tried to intimidate Griselda, but she stood firm. Plus, the manufacturer stood by her, saying messing with Griselda was like messing with him.
I'm her partner.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
That made the supplier back down. Griselda took advantage of the party vibe to call out the troublemaker,
Is this smart?
and the guests started throwing drinks at him, breaking up the drama. She not only avoided a disaster, but also secured the manufacturer's support. Now she could get as many drugs as she needed. After the party, she saw off her team, promising them they'd never have to sell drugs on the streets again as long as they stayed loyal and worked hard. By the time she got home, it was morning. She kicked off her heels, only to find two uninvited visitors waiting for her. They were assassins sent by her late husband's brother, a major drug lord from Medellin.
De por qué se iban de Medellín.
Back when Griselda killed her husband, she had been forced to serve this powerful figure. Now, he wanted revenge. It looked like Griselda was outmatched. But the assassins ended up killing their own bosses instead.
Paso a sangre fría, parida.
The lead assassin didn't want to kill kids and somehow took a liking to Griselda. After wiping out his own boss for her, Griselda saw a chance to bring him into her crew. There's no stronger bond than that kind of loyalty. With the assassin on her side, her operation ran smoother than ever. Soon, a huge drug lord with tons of product wanted to buy her territory. He had so much stuff he needed planes to move it all, but didn't want to work with Griselda. He offered her $15 million to walk away and never look back. That kind of life. The FBI was breathing down her neck hard, and the manufacturer was ready to quit the game. But Griselda wasn't ready to stop. She wasn't alone anymore. She had a strategist friend, the assassin guarding her back, and a loyal sisterhood behind her.
And the Ochoas will like a green the ground.
She dreamed of becoming the real godmother of the drug world. Right after, she talked to the manufacturer and said that since the big drug lord wanted to buy her business, her operation was worth way more than $15 million.
You're on distribution too?
Señor.
She was convinced that if she kept pushing, grinding every day, she'd eventually rake in way more than $15 million. Like that was just the starting point, the floor. She was dreaming big, but she wasn't about to get there alone. First, she had to convince this drug manufacturer dude who was supplying her stuff to keep the business flowing. She played it smart and offered him a sweet deal. She'd give him 25% of the profits. That's like slicing the pie, so he'd have a good chunk too. And guess what? The guy agreed. Griselda got him on board. But here's the catch. That move didn't just make friends.
Still no first class.
It rubbed the big drug lord's crew the wrong way. See, her buddy warned her, look, convincing one guy is way different than convincing 20 others.
When you need your next batch, okay?
She had gotten the manufacturer to side with her, but the whole city's drug bosses, they weren't so easy to win over. The game wasn't just about making deals, it was about power, alliances, and control.
We fucking come together.
At one point, Griselda stood in front of a crowd, fired up, and gave a speech that really lit a fire in people's hearts. She said something like, we've got to stick together. We unite, or we lose everything.
Any of you, but I'm not gonna fucking give it away to the...
This city's ours, and we're gonna take it back and keep it that way. People clapped and cheered.
Do it!
She was inspiring, no doubt. But of course, trouble was lurking nearby. There was this guy who supplied drugs in a neighborhood called Milcar. He'd always been her rival and hated her guts.
What'll be me?
A group of equals.
He stood up and told everyone, yeah, cooperation sounds nice, but no way am I letting some woman like Griselda take the top spot around here.
I'm not taking orders from a woman that I don't...
He wasn't just salty, he had a point to prove. Then he added, besides, where's the big boss Ayler? If he's not here, what's the point of this talk? Now, Ayler's right-hand man, a guy named Curly, explained the real deal. He told everyone that Ayler was under FBI surveillance and was planning to take a buyout offer from the major drug lord. As soon as Curly spilled this, the crowd started to scatter, backing off like scared cats. They all took off, leaving Griselda standing there alone. Not one to quit, Griselda tracked down Curly and asked him to take her to Ayler. She wanted to talk him out of selling out.
I already know your plan.
But Ayler? The dude was deep in trouble. He'd killed someone, and the cops had found a witness. So, naturally, he was planning to vanish completely to lay low and avoid the heat.
I think...
But Griselda didn't want to give up on Ayler. She made a risky offer. She'd help him get rid of the witness. And she wasn't messing around. Her assassin was lethal and efficient.
Yes.
The very next day, the FBI found the witness's whole family slaughtered, except for a tiny 6-month-old baby who somehow survived. This brutal move showed everyone that Griselda meant business. She'd dealt with the Milcar problem, and now people had to respect her. Her sisters had already started planning a big party to celebrate. Everyone was whispering that Griselda was about to become the queenpin of Miami. But of course, things never stay smooth in this world. Even though the witness was gone, the cops caught a break. They found the fingerprints of that Milcar guy at the crime scene. The police arrested him, which Griselda didn't even know about. She dressed up nice for a big meeting that night, expecting to shine, but when she got there, things had flipped. The main guy at the event was the major drug lord, and without the Milcar supplier around, everyone had rallied behind him, including the manufacturer who used to supply Griselda. She got pushed out, sidelined. That could have crushed her, but instead, It lit a fire inside her brain. She got a daring idea. The veteran drug maker who had ruled for years was gone now, wiped out. Anyone who crossed Griselda wouldn't live to tell the tale. She sent her assassin and his crew to deal with those who betrayed her, while she grabbed her 3 kids and hid them somewhere safe. Griselda thought once her enemies were taken care of, the major drug lord would have no choice but to work with her alone. But surprise, the major drug lord came to visit her, not with an offer, but to mock her. Then there was Papo, a guy who had once supplied the Milcar crew and was still alive, meaning he was itching for revenge on Griselda. She was hiding well enough to avoid him, but her people weren't. She told her assassin to move fast and save them, but the assassin was too late. The bodies of everyone involved in the killings and bombings turned up mutilated, heads chopped off, brutal messes. Griselda felt awful, blaming herself for their deaths, and that night, she couldn't get a wink of sleep. Then, out of the blue, she got a call from Curly, who'd fled to California after Milcar's arrest. Curly told her that Ayler was locked up in jail. Among all the factions, Curly said he respected Griselda the most and wanted to join her team. But Griselda wasn't ready to say yes. She was still too shaken up about her dead subordinates. Then, a touching moment, the mother of one of the people who had died came to see Griselda. She wasn't there to accuse or blame, but to ask her to care for her other kids. That showed how much faith people still had in Griselda. This gave her the guts to try again. Determined, Griselda decided she had to personally handle Papo's assassins. If she wanted justice, she had to get her hands dirty herself. Her assassins cleared the way quickly, and after they were done, she waited outside the house quietly, but a neighbor spotted her. She didn't care much. Once things were settled inside, she went in to finish the job herself. She wanted to chop off the assassin's head, but surprisingly, she couldn't go through with it. Instead, she took the assassin's necklace and wore it. Some of her dead people were part of a group called the Maralitos, and she used this connection to pull all the Maralitos together. Her passionate speech won their trust and respect big time. After that day, she basically built her own army made up of Maralitos. She ordered them to wipe out all her rivals and grab their supplies. She wanted to send a strong message, show everyone just how ruthless she was so no one would dare mess with her ever again. During this time, she got pregnant with the assassin's kid, but still had no plans to slow down. She wanted to push her empire even bigger. Anyone trying to kick her out, they get crushed. She was not messing around. At one point, she even burned all the stolen goods just to scare the major drug lord. Even the toughest of them have fears, and Griselda's desperation made her a scary force. She basically became the queen of Miami's drug world. The major drug lord himself had to keep his distance from her sharp edge. Eventually, the major drug lord agreed to work with her. He brought in a heavy hitter, and Griselda brought her trusted friend, the brains behind their strategies. They sat down to figure out how to work together. The drug lord demanded Griselda pay for all her past moves. He wanted her to face consequences. And Griselda? She was the boss who made people take off their pants if they pissed her off, not just strip down, but kneel on the ground and bark like dogs in front of a crowd. She ruled Miami like that. No one dared say no to her. 3 years before all this, Griselda had reached out to the big boss behind the major drug lord. That call changed everything for her. Sure, she lost a friend because of it, but it freed her from worries she had. For the next 3 years, she was Miami's undisputed cocaine godmother. Anyone wanting in had to get her okay first. Her business grew massive, and her temper flared along with it. The FBI had their eyes on her the entire time. They even spread fake rumors about a snitch in her inner circle. Griselda got paranoid, started suspecting everyone. That behavior pushed people away. Even her best friend stopped protecting her. Her friend warned her to stop before it was too late because the FBI was pressuring her to spill Griselda's secrets. The friend didn't want to rat, but she knew the risk. When she told Griselda, Griselda flipped out and thought her friend was the mole. "Is that you, Carmen?" she accused, full of suspicion. She was ready to kill her own best friend. But her assassin husband showed up just in time to stop her. The assassin knew Griselda wasn't thinking straight, but Griselda thought he was protecting her friend, not her. She even suspected her husband was cheating on her and might be a snitch too. She ordered Curly to kill a subordinate who wasn't listening to her anymore, but Curly messed up and only managed to kill the subordinate's child. That mistake destroyed Griselda's support. Her brutal ways and harsh attitude scared everyone off. Desperate, she had to look for help from the drug lord's sister, hoping the sister could back her. But shocker, the sister suddenly died at Griselda's house. Given everything Griselda had done, the drug lord wasn't buying the accident story and blamed Griselda. Terrified, Griselda fled Miami with her kids. During the escape, she asked the assassin and their son to join her, but the assassin was done with this life and wanted peace. Griselda got mad, but had no choice but to focus on running. She took all her remaining goods and asked Curly to help sell them, unknowingly catching the drug lord attention again. Meanwhile, the FBI had collected all the evidence against her. Her best friend finally turned on her, confessing everything to the FBI for protection. Griselda was cornered. When the drug lord showed up in Los Angeles with his men, Curly warned her. But she didn't run this time. She told her sons to get out of the hotel. Facing the drug lord meant death, but surrendering might still give her a chance. The drug lord was furious she wasn't facing death. Back in Miami, with money and connections, Griselda hired the best lawyers. Through legal tricks, she only got 7 years in prison. Behind bars, she got important stuff done. She told her sons to help find and bring back her youngest son. The assassin husband died in his yard. Eventually, Griselda reunited with her 4 sons and dreamed of rebuilding their empire. But just before her release, enemies killed her kids one by one. In that moment, Griselda finally felt the regret for all her choices. If she had stopped sooner, her family might have been safe and happy. One wrong move led to another, and even though her early life was glorious, her later years were empty and lonely. After she got out in 2012, she went back to Medellin, Colombia. But the streets weren't safe. Unidentified shooters killed her at 69 years old. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. I love hearing from you. See you in the next video.